second part of this section is actually using the distributive property. So we're going to kind of go over how you do this. And these two examples will really cover it. So we'll only do a few of these just so it's not too long of a video for you. So distributive property says we multiply and distribute it to the 3 and the 8. So we have 3 in the square root of 8. Well, this does not have a square root, so that's considered the outside, and that's considered the inside. So you literally have 3 square root of 6. And then you have 8 and 6 that are multiplied together, and that gets you 48. And it's on the inside because they're both on the inside of the square root. Now, we already talked about this. 6 does not simplify any farther, but we do have to see if 48 does. So we're going to take 48 divided by 2, which is 24, divide that by 2, which is 12, and keep going, and we get to the 3. So pair and pair, that gets kicked out to the outside. So 3 square root of 6 is rewritten, and then you have 2 and 2, which is 4 square root of 3, and that's the answer because we can't add these together because they have different numbers underneath the radicals. Okay, this is the FOIL method. So we have to remember how to do that. So we're going to take 4 times 2, which is 8, 4 times the square root of 3, which is 4 square root of 3, because it's on the outside, that's the inside. Same here, this has an inside, this has an outside, so it's just 2 square root of 3. Always write the radical last. And 3 times 3 is 9, so square root of 9. All right, so we can combine these two together because they have the same type of radical. So you have 8 minus 2 square root of 3 because negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. And the square root of 9 we know is 3. So we put 8 and 3 together. Can't do anything with this, so we have 5 minus 2 square root of 3, and that's the answer. All right, so let's just do a few of these, and I'm thinking we'll just do this right here. Just these 3. I think that'll be a good set to help for what you need to do. So this is just the FOILing method. So we're going to take the square root of 15 to the 2. 2's on the outside, that's on the inside, so it's just 2 square root of 15. And then you can actually multiply the 15 and 5 together, which gets you 75. Okay. 15, if you try to simplify it, it's just 3 and 5, so there's no pairs, so that can't do anything. So then we have to move on to the 75. If we divide that by 3, you get 25, and you divide 25 by 5, you get 5, right? Because it's a perfect square. So you're left with 2 square root of 15, because you can't do anything, and 5 square root of 3. And that's it. That's your answer. All right. Number 9 is a little bit more complicated, and there's a lot going on. So just, if you need to pause the video, do it, okay? So we're going to distribute the negative 2 square root of 3 to here. Negative 2's on the outside, 3's on the outside, so that's negative 6 when you multiply it. And 3 and 10 is 30. And we're going to do the same thing to the next one. But we have to be careful that has a negative and that has a negative, so it's a positive. So we have positive 6, and then 3 times 6 is 18. So we got to simplify all these. So we're going to take 30 divided by 3, which is 10, and divide that by 2, and it's 5. So no pairs, so that doesn't simplify. So I'm just going to rewrite it to show you. It doesn't simplify because there's no pairs. And then we're going to do the 18. We can take 18 divided by 2, which is 9, and that's a perfect square, so we know something's going to come out, and that's a 3. So this 3 gets multiplied to the 6, which is 18, square root of 2. And that's all you can do, because these two can't combine because they have different things under the radicals. All right, last problem. We're going to FOIL this. Anytime there's 2 parentheses, you have to FOIL. So we're going to take square root of 5 times the square root of 5, which is the square root of 25. Square root of 5 and 4, which would be 4 square root of 5. 2 and square root of 5 would just be 2 square root of 5. And then 2 and 4 would be 8. We know the square root of 5 is 5, and it'd be 6 square root of 5 plus 8. So we just add the 5 and 8 together. It's a 13, and the order does not matter. Okay. So there's one thing I want to make a note of real quick before we end. When we multiply the square root of 3 and the square root of 3 here, we got the square root of 9. So square root of 3, square root of 3 equals the square root of 9. Well, what's the square root of 9? Well, it's 3. Okay? And when we multiply the square root of 5 together times the square root of 5, you got the square root of 25, which is 5. So I'll just give you one more hint of what I'm going towards. If I did the square root of 4 times the square root of 4, that's the square root of 16, which is 4. And what I'm hoping you notice is that if these numbers are the same, the square roots just kind of cancel out and you get what's on the inside. So square root of 5 times the square root of 5 is just 5. Square root of 4 times the square root of 4 is just 4. If I had the square root of 2 times the square root of 2, it's just 2. Okay? All right, so hopefully you get an understanding of this. It's a lot of radicals, a lot of simplifying. Stay safe, be healthy. See you later.